Okay, I don't understand why it's so hard to get OBS and YouTube to talk to each other for this. It's ridiculous. How's how is the audio? Is it good? Let me know. I'm going to be setting some stuff up here. Oh, everything's upside down. That's fun. Oh, how can we do that? How can we flip it? No. Cancel that. Let's see if we can flip this, shall we? Or I can just manually flip it, I guess. Ooh, all right, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Let me go ahead and close the door. All right. How are we doing on audio? Can everybody hear me? I hope everyone can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Just give me a yes or good or whatever. Okay, perfect. All right, sounds good. Okay. Let me go ahead and move this little chat window over so I can see everyone. Yeah, so OBS would not connect with YouTube, which sucks because I had a cool little splash screen and everything with, like a stream starting soon type thing and like a be right back and all that stuff. And they wouldn't talk. Last 15 minutes I've been trying to get it to go. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this. So I have this little Papercraft thing. This is a trireme. These were like, I don't know, 10 euros, 12 euros or something like that in Greece. I saw it. I thought it was really cool. I also have a Knossos one. But we're going to build this one today. I haven't even cut it open. You can see it's still got the plastic on it. So let's go ahead and do that now. It says you don't need scissors, but I've got this and another little carving blade there in case we do. So yeah. All right. It says it takes 90 to 120 minutes. So all right, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's it. Oh, age 8 up. All right, that's the stream, folks. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Oh, why are we out of focus? There we go. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Oh. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it gives you a whole bunch of cool. Oh, and in both languages too. A bunch of cool history. So that's nice. Maybe we'll read a little bit of that. But okay, let's see what this says here. Read carefully the instructions before. Okay, yeah, that probably won't happen. Observe the pieces, locate the letters on each piece, and make sure you understand the syllables used. Okay. You know what? We're going to take this paper and we're going to leave it right here so I see it all the time. Oh, look at that. That's cool. All right. And then, oh, wow. This is pretty involved here. Nice. Okay. Let's see here. Start from the deck piece B by first gluing the lateral pieces A1 and A2 at the designated spot. Ooh, all right. Well, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to do the deck piece B. B1 and B2. It just says B. By first gluing the lateral pieces A1 and A2 at the designated spot, and then where necessary to pieces B1 and B2. Well, this is B1 and B2. There's A1 and A2. Am I stupid? There is no B. There's no B. B1 and B2. Put in the cardboard, is it? No? Okay. Well, this is interesting. Huh. There's E. Start from the deck. Piece B. Okay, well, by first gluing the lateral pieces A1 and A2. So here's A1 and A2. Ooh. It says don't need scissors, but you're going to end up tearing this thing trying to peel it out. All right. So I said I'd talk about my trip to Greece, but I do have to start off with saying that there's certain things that I can't discuss specifically with the excavation because there are things that have yet to be published, specifically from this season's dig. So if you ask me any questions about the excavation, just know that there is a possibility that I might not be able to answer it. Okay, so I just want to get that out in front before we begin anything. So anyways, let me tell you a little bit about how it went. So I left here. Oh boy. No scissors, my ass. I left here at the end of May to go to Greece to participate in a field school that was being put on by the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, by a professor by the name of Michael Lane. And the field school involved the excavation of a site in central Greece that was in the Copaic Basin. And if you don't know what the Copaic Basin is, it's actually pretty wild. So the Copaic Basin used to be a lake. It was actually a really big lake. And at a certain point in history, in the Bronze Age, they decided they were going to drain it. And the reason being, there's a bunch of different reasons why people think it was happening. But basically what ended up coming out of that was they had this big, huge, very well irrigated flat area to farm. Okay. And because of that, they were able to get a lot of resources and stuff. So, it ends up being a really good idea to do that. If they did not do that, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Central Greece. I had never been to Central Greece before I went, but it's pretty hilly. There are some flat areas, but for the most part, where we were at, it is fairly hilly. There's lots of this rocky outcroppings pretty much everywhere, and farming it just is not a viable thing out there unless you drain the lake. And it's possible that they drain the lake specifically to do that. It's also possible that they were doing that before with lower water levels, and they wanted to keep it that way, so they just redirected rivers and stuff. But it's a pretty interesting area. After a while, specifically after the Bronze Age, it reflooded, and so a lot of that stuff disappeared. The lake came back, and actually Pausanias, who came through Greece touring through Greece, he noted that um, the that as he went through there, he did not note the place that we were digging. So, and he didn't note Gla either. Gla is a big citadel site in the Copaic Basin, so it probably flooded and completely covered Gla. Okay, so A1 at the designated spot, and then where it's necessary to pieces B1 and B2. So here's pieces B1 and B2. So let's go ahead and take that out. So anyways, where we were at was not Gla, but you could see Gla from it, and I really dislike that name. It sounds made up. Well, I mean, all names are made up, but like you know what I mean. It doesn't sound real, right? It sounds kind of funky. First time I heard it, I was like, what? I didn't think it was a real place, but Gla is a real place, and it's actually pretty interesting. Gla has these huge walls that go all the way around it. I believe the information that was given to me was that Gla has the longest continuous walls of the Bronze Age Greek mainland, or I guess maybe even in the islands too. I don't know, but pretty big, pretty big. What's interesting about Gla though is that it does not have some things that we generally assume palace complexes had. Specifically megarons. Now it has these megaron-like things. They refer to them as megaroids, which is really interesting. And I got to see them and actually, stand in them. And yeah, they're basically megarons, but they're kind of small. And they are part of a little bit of a complex. But what's really wild is that the complex that has these megaroids, and I use the plural, it's got two of them actually. And the buildings are actually mirrored copies of each other. So like, it's crazy. Like one goes like this, and then the other building is like this. And then, oops, sorry, here in the camera. So like one building is like this, and then one building is like this. And you have the megaroid here and the megaroid here. And they're almost like mirrored copies of each other, which is pretty wild to think about, because like that's just not something that you see. Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to set this over here. Okay, so we don't have B unless, yeah, there's no B. Let's see if we have everything else. Unless they mean this, but I thought this was, yeah, see B1 and B2. This is B2. And then where necessary to pieces B1 and B2. Well, let's just go ahead and do this. Okay, so it looks like, oh God, we're dealing with the symbols now. Hold the piece with so if the arrow is pointing away from the flat lines like this, we have to fold downwards. That's what it says. Okay, so there we go. We're folding all these downwards. Oh, actually, we're folding the other side all downwards too. All right. Well, if you guys ever go to Greece and you pick up one of these things, you can come back to this live stream and build it along with me. Okay, so these are all bent down. B 1.3, B, okay, so so it looks like, okay, whoops, what are we doing here? Okay, so B 2.1, oh man, there's nothing. Wow. By gluing the lateral pieces A1 and A at the designated spot, and then where necessary. Okay, so B2, I guess what, this is B1. just goes like this, maybe? Maybe? Where's the box at? We're gonna have to do the thing and look at the picture. Ah, okay. That doesn't tell me anything. All right, well, we'll figure it out. It looks like, okay, so it looks like this is the deck, even though it's B1 and B2. So maybe what they meant to say was start from the deck, piece B, and B1 and B2 are both B, maybe? I don't know. That's what I'm going to go with. If it ends up looking terrible, I don't know. Okay, so this was B1. So B1, we're going to glue all these little tabs here, and I got little glue sticks here. All right. So all the B1s, man, I really hope this is right. B1 and B2. Okay, so yeah. B1.3 right there. Okay, so if this was like this, B1.3. All right, yeah, all right, so we're on to something. So I'm going to keep this little template close. There we go. Okay, where was I? Glaw? Yeah, Glaw. Still a weird name. So Glaw is also really interesting because of its sort of proximity to Mitru. If you were to drive to Mitru from Glaw, it's about, I don't know, depending on if you want to do toll roads or not, it's about 30 minutes, maybe 30-minute drive. Of course, you know, the Mycenaeans with their sedans and everything. Oh man, this is going to be terrible. Oh geez, what the? Okay, we're going to do it like this. Oh my God, this is terrible. Maybe I should have gotten faster drying glue. I do have super glue. Maybe I do that. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Maybe this will stay put. I did look up what kinds of glues to use, and the consensus was to use glue sticks. So that's what I'm doing. Oof, man. So anyways, interesting thing about Mitru, which is, if you don't know what Mitru is, that's the island that I'm doing my thesis on. Mitru has these roads in the late Helladic, so the late Bronze Age. And we see at Mitru, these roads get worked on a fairly regular basis. Like clockwork, right? They're working on these roads. And then right around the time that the Copaic Basin is drained, we see the roads kind of no longer getting worked on. So, you know, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together there. There we go. Just push down on this bad boy. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together there. We think that maybe Glaw was pulling people from other settlements to help them out. How did they drain the lake back then? So yeah, that's, you want to talk about something that's really intense. They built dikes all around, and I'm gonna start using these bad boys here. They built dikes all around, and then they redirected the river. And what's really cool are the several rivers that went into that lake. And it's really cool because from our site, which was sort of elevated above the Copaic Basin, you could still see the dark marks, like if you were looking down at like if this were the plane, right? You could actually still see the dark marks kind of running parallel to each other where the walls were, where they redirected the rivers, which is really wild. And then they opened up a bunch of sinkholes to drain this thing, right? It took a lot of manpower, like a lot of manpower. It's insane how much manpower this would have taken. And, you know, back then, they weren't really at a loss for manpower. They had plenty of people that they could use and abuse because we're talking about the Mycenaean folks, and well, they're kind of warlike, and so you have a whole bunch of people that you capture from fighting, and you use them for labor. So yeah, probably slave labor, but they also had the other surrounding uh, settlements as well. So really wild. But there are actual sinkholes that are still open to this day, I think, because we were talking about the different sinkholes and stuff. Where they just drained the lake just into these sinkholes and redirected all the rivers and stuff. Pretty wild. And it didn't stay because, like I mentioned that earlier, it actually flooded again right after that. And then they tried to drain it years later. I mean, like centuries later. And then they tried draining it, I think in the early 1900s or 1950s or something like that. And they finally got it drained. The British came through and helped them with that. And set up like little watchtowers and stuff, which is really wild because the watchtowers are still there. Or not watchtowers, but like little field houses and stuff, which are still there, which is really wild. They're kind of cool looking, actually. If they were had any decent upkeeping to them, they'd be a really neat house to live in. But yeah, so yeah, they drained all this stuff. It's pretty wild. Okay, what was that? That was B1. All right, so now we just do the same thing, but with this side. And I can't use the clamps. Oh boy. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. Where's my glue go? Uh-oh. My glue stick fall? No? It's buried underneath the clamps. All right, instead of hitting each and every one of these, we're just gonna run a line right along here. And then right there. Sure, that ought to work, right? Right, okay. Oh man. Oh yeah, I can already see how this is going to be horrifically frustrating. Let me glue this here. Oh. I need like extra fingers for this. Okay. Oh my God, maybe not. It's sort of working. If I just like squeeze the hell out of it, just pinch it, it seems to want to stay then. Sure. Yeah, that works. Oh, what am I doing? You just do this. Nope, because then it'll glue the rest of the thing down. I guess this works. Oh man. This is going to be the like crappiest looking Papercraft Trireme ever. They probably have professionals building it for the cover art. Here, let me squeeze the hell out of these for a second. Okay. So another weird thing about GLA is that it's got this huge plaza in the middle, like huge plaza in the middle. I got to see the plaza at Canosos, and this plaza at Gla was just, I don't know, it seemed bigger to me. I don't, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it seemed bigger. Oh, this is terrible. Where's my super glue? All right, we're gonna try super glue for a second here. And try not to glue our fingers together, which is not gonna happen. We're totally gonna glue our fingers together. Okay, just hold that there for like 3 seconds. Nope. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so it has this like huge plaza in the middle, like gigantic plaza in the middle. Not really sure what that's all about. But I mean, the crazy thing is remember that there's no real like Megaron there. There's nothing that says like, hey, this is a Mycenaean palace, except for the like little Megaroids. So who knows? Maybe it was like an administration type thing. I don't know. I don't know. Pretty wild. They do have a lady who's working there right now, who's doing a bunch of digging, and she's got like this huge crane and everything, and she's clearing out all the fallen walls and pieces. And we went up there, and they were like numbered and everything. So she's obviously putting them back up in the order with which they fell. So I don't know. She thinks that there's going to be maybe some tourism with that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They're going to have to really, really like, make it really nice and do a few things with it in order for it to even get anywhere near the amount of tourists to make it worth it. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, yeah. This is where I glue my fingers together. Okay. Oh, that's already set. Oh boy, that's already set. Okay. Well, I hope that's where I wanted it, because that's where it's going to be. Okay, we're going to hold on to this, because the next thing we got to glue down is this portion here, right? We're gluing lateral pieces A1 and A2 at the designated spot, and then where necessary to pieces B1 and B2. Where necessary. Oh. Okay. All right, so these probably should have a little bit of spring back a little bit so that they're kind of pushing against the other piece before I put it down. I don't know how I'm going to get it to sit. Okay, so this is going to need to go on this. Like that. Okay. All right. Well, let's try it, shall we? Let's get this forbidden lipstick out. All right, and that, and that. Okay. I grabbed the stuff that goes on purple so that I could see it, but you can't really see it. So that was a lie. Okay. I want it to stay put there and here. So I'm just going to kind of hold this here like this. Yeah. Okay. That is incorrect. There we go. Oh, geez. Okay, the thing says ages 8 and up. It needs to be like, I mean, you need to have a certain level of patience with this. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. Okay, we're just going to sit here for a second while I hold this thing down. Okay, so yeah, GLA. Anyways, so yeah, that's the neat thing about GLA. If you get a chance, look up the floor plan of GLA, or just sort of like the map of GLA. It's pretty wild. It's huge. The place is absolutely huge. It's built on this little island. What's crazy is, okay, this is not working. What's crazy is at some point in history, some madman looked at this lake with this island in the middle and thought, you know what? It'd be cool to build something on that island. Too bad this water's in the way. And then just like drained it, which just blows my mind. All right, we're doing it. We're doing super glue. All right, so there's that. And there's that. Oop, oop, oop. Oh, see, almost glued my fingers to it. Yeah, so somebody at some point was like, I want to build something there. And they did. And it's just absolutely crazy that they would do that. And they would just drain the lake to do it. Hyperfixated 8-year-olds. Yeah, I guess, with a lot of patience. All right. No, yeah, we're just gonna go through here and just use this. Screw this. Oop, oop, too much. Maybe it's all right. We'll just hold that for a second. Yeah. And so we weren't excavating at GLA. We were actually excavating at a different spot completely, altogether. But in the grand scheme of things, it would have been probably overseen by GLA or like a satellite of it or something, right? I mean, even Me True, we think, was overseen by GLA at some point, or Kolmenos, which is right down the road as well. Oh, too late. All right, so that's glued. All right, well, there we go. It's done. There we are. It's not perfect, but it's done. So there we are. Okay. Yeah, so it was a really neat site. We had to hike up this hill to get there every morning, and it was quite a climb. I made the joke that that by the end of the summer I was going to have like calves of steel and be able to crush a walnut with my butt cheeks. Haven't tried the walnut yet, but I can confirm I got calves of steel. So yeah, I actually went back to the gym thinking that like, oh, I'm probably lost a lot of muscle mass over the summer. I did in the upper body, but the lower body, no, I had to move the weights up for lower body. It was like, yeah, it was crazy. Okay. Attach piece Z to piece E of the body of the ship and then follow the printed instructions on the back of piece E. There's instructions on the back of these pieces? What? Son of a bitch. There is. Okay. All right. Yeah. E, right? And look at that. They got instructions on the back. E9, E10, E11, E12, E13. Oh, E9, E3, E13, E8. Oh, okay. Attach piece Z. So this is piece Z to piece E. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Ooh, cap came flying off. That's not safe. That's not safe at all. You know, oops. Whoa. I'm going to scooch up a little bit because I keep pulling this thing off of the board towards myself and out of the camera. By the way, you want to see what some of the stuff is that I grabbed from well, I shouldn't say grabbed. No, not grabbed. Purchased from gift shops. On Greece, I got this little thing here. This little, trireme boat type thing. They come with these little certificates so that you don't get, nabbed going going out of the country. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I thought that was neat. I got a couple other things too. I'll show some more off as we go along. Okay, so let's get E out of here. So anyways, we were staying in a little town called Kokino, which is the Greek word for red, because the hills have this red stone, and that's from the nickel mine. Kokino is a mining town. It's kind of sad because Kokino is this cozy little town in the hills of central Greece, and lots of really nice people there. And the mine had closed. I don't know, something like 5 years ago or something like that. I don't remember exactly how long ago the mine closed, but it closed. And so these folks are just trying to make ends meet. And there was a lot of abandoned houses there and everything. And the town didn't have a grocery store; it had a little mini market. The real grocery store wasn't until you went up and over the hill or the mountain that it was on. So it was 5 kilometers away. So yeah. Oh, what is this? What do the arrows mean? Is that? Oh, well, I know this piece. This piece is the tail. So I mean, I'm not going to worry too much. Oh, E2, E2, E1. And then this, you can't see it because the light's really bright, but it says E1, E2 on it. Okay, so yeah, so it was there's these really nice little houses there, and everybody had this little outdoor seating area. It was like God, I don't know. I know the word we use in Arizona, but I know that's probably not a good word to use because not everyone's going to know what that means. But picture a shed, right? Shed's a bad word too. But kind of like a carport. Picture a carport, right? A separate carport from the house, so it's not attached to the house. And instead of it being just open on all 4 sides, it's closed off on at least one side. Usually just the one side, but sometimes 2. And in there is a covered. Well, it's basically a grill, like a barbecue grill, but it's set up in such a way that it's almost like an oven. Not really an oven, like a fireplace, but it's semi-open on the top, so it's more of a grill / fireplace in there. And then there's seating and everything. Anyways, really neat little places, and usually all of those things are completely covered in grapevines because they just let their grapevines just grow like crazy out there. I mean, we're talking massive grapevines. These things are huge. They just let them sprawl, and it's actually kind of cool. So yeah, so they all have these little outdoor seating places. Every time they see you, they say hello. They say, good evening, good morning, stuff like that. You're very, very friendly people. Everyone in Greece was friendly, with the exception of the crazy guy that was living next to the Airbnb that I rented in just outside of Mycenae. That guy was batshit. But there's crazy people everywhere. But yeah, everyone was super nice, and they all were happy that we were there, which is kind of cool. I'm sure we were annoying to some of them too, usual American tourist type stuff, even though we were there to actually work. And by the way, I was there to work. I know I called it a field school, and it is a field school, but I was not there as a student. I'm actually there as staff. So I just want to throw that out there in case anyone knows, what a field school is, and maybe thinking like, oh, this guy's a professional archaeologist and he's a student at a field school. No, I was staff. I mean, I don't mind being a student. I wouldn't have minded being a student. I just couldn't have done some of the cool stuff that I did afterwards. But yeah, Kokino's is, a really cool place, really nice views because it's up in the hills. But where it's at in Greece, it's near the coast, but it's on the other side of the mountains from the coast. So it's in like a coastal desert area almost. And so it was absurdly hot there. And we were out there excavating in that heat. And if you've seen pictures of me in real life, which, if you, most of, well, not most, but some of the content I do has pictures of me. I'm like one shade darker than albino. And so I went through like legitimately a big tube of sunscreen the entire time I was there, like a whole tube of sunscreen. I went through it because I was just baking out there. But then you get kind of close to the coast and it's just, it's gorgeous weather. Okay. All right. So I think we got, let's get this little piece out of here. All right. So we finally got, come on. There we go. All right. So we finally got the hull, and this is the instructions on the back side of E. Yeah. So it says no glue, but glue. Glue from here. Oh, glue from here forward. That's what that means. Okay. So this must be the same thing. Glue from here forward. Oh, well, that we can set up in the clamps. So that we can use the glue stick for. So let's just do one of these. Yeah, there we are. Oh, nope. It says do not glue on that side of the line. All right. So we'll go ahead and fold this, and then we'll clamp it. We'll go ahead and clamp it right there, and we'll clamp it here and here. Okay, there we go. Bam. Just like that. So it's clamped. I'm going to set it off to the side. Okay. Now it says to glue this middle section here. Maybe. Where's that box at? Ugh. So that middle section would be the bottom that you can't see in this picture. So I assume we do that. So let's go ahead and do that. Right? Wait, hold on. Let me check the instructions before I attach piece Z to piece E. So this is piece Z, the thing that I've got clamped right now, which should be mostly set. Okay. And the body of the ship, and then follow the printed instructions on the back of. Oh, okay. So this goes E2 and E1. Oh, that's right. E2 and E1. So this is E2 and this is E1. So we just need to go what? That's not right, is it? Like that? Oh, wait. I bet this goes right on top. Ah, yeah. Okay. All right. So it's going to have like a weird little like shelf there. Yeah. Looking at the box. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do, no, because we can clamp this one. So we're going to go ahead and do, right, Z2E. All right. Wait, hold on. There's little lines on here. So does that mean that it needs to go like that? Sure. Because then this goes up here like that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Is it visible? Is it visible on the box? No, it's blurry. Okay. That's fine. Let's see here. We'll just do that real quick. And slide this bad boy in there. Take this, clamp it. Okay. So anyways, yeah, Coconut was nice. And then there was a little town on the town that was on the other side of the mountain was called a Crafenio, and Crafenio was also very nice. I liked the Crafenio. That's where we went and did our grocery shopping. It was in Crafenio. It was like the only place I had to. Well, there was another place I had a grocery store too, the Galaxia. That was down the road, but the Crafenio was closer. So yeah. Now, funny thing is, since I know how to drive stick shift, I was volunteered to be a driver for the field school. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue in here. Wait, why does that say K? Be careful to apply adhesive only on the areas marked with that little symbol. After the main part of the hull has been formed, attach piece K at the designated place. After the hull has been formed. What? That's H. Where's K? K. So it's just like a. What? That's weird. So it's like a. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what it is they're asking me to do here. After the main part of the hull has been formed. Okay, well, tell you what. We'll just do this. So you got the little thing there that says, yes, glue this. So we're going to do all of that. There we go. Someone in the future is watching this who does Papercraft and is screaming at me because I'm, I don't know, using too much glue or not enough glue or something. Clamp that there. Oop. And we'll clamp this here. And we'll clamp that there. Okay, now we're just going to let it sit. All right, let me show you something else I got. So I went to Knossos. Well, I'll tell you about, before I get to the cool thing that I got, let me tell you about the trip at the end of the excavation. So I finished at the field school on the 28th or 27th of June, and I was pretty much a free man at that point. I could do whatever, and I had already sort of got rented what do you call it? Reserved a rental car, and I decided I was going to drive through Central Greece and the Peloponnese. But I also wanted to go to Crete. So when the school was done, I went to Athens. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. I went to Athens, and I, well, that was also when we did the rowing of the Trireme, which was cool, even though we didn't get a chance to actually leave the dock because the wind was just horrendous that day. Wind was just fine the next day, so that's fun. because of course, because the Usculus wants to go and row a trireme. It's it's going to conspire so that I don't get a chance to do it. But yeah, so I got to actually go onto the trireme, got to man an oar, row it. We pulled against that dock pretty hard too. So it was pretty fun rowing that, and rowing backwards and rowing forwards, all that. So it was pretty cool to actually be on an actual trireme. And if you don't know, go ahead and look it up. It's the Olympia, and it is a 5th century trireme, or it's obviously recreation. It's not a holdover from the 5th century. It's a recreation. But and the funny thing is, it's part of the Hellenic Navy, so it's actually part of the Greek Navy. So yeah, so it's a warship. Of course, they're not going to ever use it in war, and if they ever have to, they're in really bad position. Okay, so the hull is glued together. Let's grab K here. K looks like it's just a reinforcement piece, so I'm not going to worry too much about it looking bad when I take it out. So anyway, so on that next Monday, I was on a ferry going to Crete. Funny thing is, my cohort was actually supposed to go to Crete the day before, which was the day that we were doing the rowing, and he was going by aircraft, and he couldn't go because the winds were so high. So that was pretty wild on his part. He did not get to row the trireme, which sucks. But if we do this again next summer, maybe he'll come along for it. I think he should. I would do it again. It was free, so that's cool. All right, let's see here. So I think it said if the V is pointed towards the two lines, you fold upwards with the printed piece upwards. So we fold it like that, and we glue it together. Oh, that's interesting. So we glue it in here, and then we glue it together. Is it flat? Is it really flat? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Go like that. Go like that. I mean, that's how it ought to be, right? But they want me to glue that together. And then, wait. This is E, and this is K. So K goes here, and E goes here. So actually, this needs to be like this. So it's not printed side. Hold the piece with the printed side facing up and fold upwards. Huh. But that would mean that you can't fold it upwards if that's folded that way. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Fold and glue the mast H. That would be this. So I ended up going to Crete, where I stayed in this Airbnb that was just freaking nice. It was really nice. And I stayed mostly in Airbnbs, even though they are destroying the housing market in the world, because it was the same price for hotels as it would have been for Airbnbs. And some of the hotels were actually even more. So, hotels, maybe drop your price. Maybe you're being a little greedy there. Okay, so this is folding downwards. Okay. So it's a triangular mast. So it's going to be like that. Okay. All right, let's do that. Oh, but I can't clamp it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the super glue here. Oh God, that's too much. Oh, that's too much. Oh yeah, that's way too much. Oh, and I can't touch that. Oh no, this was a dumb idea. I am going to glue the hell out of my fingers together with this one. Oh, yep. See, I'm already doing it. Oh, 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 oh no. I did not think this through. Okay, hold on. If I fold it like that and I'm not touching the glue, and then I could go, oh, 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 aha, there we go. And I only glued myself to the mask just a little bit. Okay, but the mask is twisted, so that's fun. Okay. So first day in Crete, I went to Knossos. Well, I mean, first day in Crete, I settled in, but you know what I mean, like the first real day in Crete. I went to Knossos to go check that out. And I posted pictures of fold the mask, pass it through the triangular opening in B and glue underneath. Okay. I posted pictures on the Discord, I think, of some of it, and I think I posted some pictures on my Instagram of it. But yeah, Knossos was interesting. Lots and lots of cement. So Knossos was excavated around the same time that everyone was sort of going crazy with excavating ancient Greece or excavating Greece. And Sir Arthur Evans, I can't fit that through there. Sir Arthur Evans, who excavated at Knossos, really wanted to have the this palace sort of look like it used to. Okay. B24, B25, B26. Oh, I gotta pass it. Yeah. 24. 20. That's not right. Because that would, okay. Doesn't matter. So what he did is he had his workers reconstruct it so that it, I'm quoting him here, looked good. So he kind of threw accuracy out the window in favor of looking good and being a tourist destination, which I mean I can get behind that too. I can totally get behind that too. There is a certain aspect with which, or a certain sort of give and take with which you gotta figure these things out, right? I'm not saying that you should make it not accurate. You should make it as accurate as possible. But a little bit of interpretation is okay as well. But he took it a little. He took it a little far with the interpretation, and he had his guys just sort of slap stuff together as long as it looked good. And if you didn't know that going in there, it wouldn't ruin your experience. Well, even if you do know that, it's still not going to ruin your experience. All right, there we go. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Okay. Fold and glue the oars in place, taking care to match the letters and numbers correctly. Okay. So anyways, yeah. Well, across the street from Knossos was this nice little, well, there were several little gift shops. But the one I went to, the very first one I went to, the guy was super nice, really helpful. He was pulling things down for me to look at. And, I was checking things out. And if you know anything about Akrotiri, which is on Santorini, the island of Thera, it's a Bronze Age settlement that was sort of like a Pompeii situation, but unlike the ding dongs in Pompeii, the Greeks actually knew to get off the island before it erupted. When it was giving them all kinds of warning signs, and because of that, things are fairly well preserved. There's no loss of life, but there is a really neat wall fresco there, a painting of a scene of a bunch of ships coming in, a bunch of boats coming in. And if you've watched my Bronze Age Minecraft series, I actually base the boats that are outside of the settlement of Dimini in the series. Which, yes, I know Dimini's Neolithic, and I'm using Bronze Age ships, but I base those ships off of that fresco. So, anyways, they had a whole bunch of these really cool paintings that looked like the frescoes. So here, it's right here, right by my thing. So check it out. So I picked up this thing. It's like a little recreation of it. So there's the ships, and of course the dolphins and everything jumping around. Of course, the real fresco is gigantic. It's like, I don't know, like 5 feet long. But yeah, so I saw this and I was like, nope, I got to have that. So he brought one. He brought one, I think, from the back up, and yeah, and I grabbed it and yeah, I got that. So I love it. It's cool. I have it right by my little hobby mat. So when I'm at the computer, I can just look to the right and I see it. Okay. E9, E3, and B2. Oh, B2 is this one? Which one is B2? Are you disappointed that you didn't get to go to the Menelaon? No, I'm not that disappointed. I missed out on the Menelaon. The Menelaon would have been cool to go see. I mean, like really cool to go see. But man, I just, I saw the reviews, and everyone was talking about how, they when they went to the Menelaon, their car got broken into, and I did not want to do that. I didn't want to deal with that, out in the middle of nowhere, and I was not up for that. Okay, so these go in here. All right, so we're going to have to glue in K. So let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay. So then after Knossos, I took a day off on Crete, where I just sort of like was a lazy bum in the hotel room or in the Airbnb, because I was pretty exhausted, having done a whole bunch of stuff already for the field school, and then also being on the ferry all day and everything. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to take a day off. And I took a day off, and it was nice. It was wonderful, being able to just sort of relax and just sort of do nothing. I say do nothing, but I actually worked on videos while I was there, because that's relaxing to me. Even with the editing program I use, which is obnoxious. I worked on videos that day and just kind of hung out and walked around and checked out the sites, or not the sites, but like, just sort of downtown Heraklion. Went and ate at a nice little place down by the beach, well, near the beach. And so yeah, so it was nice to take that day off. The next day, I left on the ferry and came back to Athens, and kind of sucks. While on the ferry, I don't know who did it, but I have my suspicions. There was these assholes that were in the that actually took my seat, and then the guy who was like the usher or whatever, the guy who was sort of helping people to their seats, basically just gave me another seat, which was right behind them, and they were rude assholes. Anyways, it was either them or it was the guy next to me. Someone went into my bag while I was using the bathroom, and they stole my Kindle right out of my bag. Rat bastards. So that kind of sucked. But I didn't realize it until I left the ferry, and the ferry makes multiple stops along the way. So it's not like I if I had noticed, I could have been like, hey, which one of you assholes has my Kindle? No. It was they were long gone um, on some other island somewhere. So that kind of sucked. But the Kindle was old. I got a new one, so that sucked. Um, ooh, yeah, there we go. Look at that, little oars, little oars. Okay. All right. And then so I got back to Athens, and I went to the rental car place, which was a hassle and a half because the taxi driver. Um, I told him I didn't know where the rental place was, and I gave him the sheet that I printed out for the rental car, and it said the airport, but the airport is not where it's at. The airport is just sort of the area in which it operates. So he insisted that it was at the airport, even though we drove by the place. We literally drove by the place, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the place right there." But I'm taking you to the airport because that's where it's at. Oh, okay, cool. And then we we get there. So this is E7. So this goes. Wait, where's E7? Um, okay, I'll figure out where that goes later. So I get to the airport, and then I spend like an hour at the airport trying to figure out where the hell I got to go. And so then I ended up having to take another cab to go to the rental car place. Anyways, finally get to the rental car place, get the rental car. It's a little Fiat 500. And then I was on my way. So the next day I went to Delphi, which was pretty cool. It was the neat thing about Delphi is, and I didn't know this and I mean, you blink and you'd miss it. But every wall along the Sacred Way, which is the little path you walk as you go through Delphi, and it's the same path that pilgrims would have walked as they came to see the Pythia to get an oracle, or at least to the priests, not the Pythia herself. Nobody saw the Pythia herself. But every single stone on the wall, and these things were like a meter across and thick, had writing on it. And I swear, the letters were like they could fit inside this little block here. Like they were tiny. Each letter could fit, and it was just paragraphs of this writing on there. And yeah, it was really wild to see that. And I kind of got close and was looking. I didn't want to get too close because the people the the people there, they got little whistles and stuff, and they if you get a little too gung ho, they blow their whistle at you and yell at you. And I got to see people get the whistles blown at them, and it was awesome. I love it. So I didn't want to be one of those people that got the whistle blown at them. But yeah, it was really neat. And so I was kind of walking through, and I was thinking, oh man, I wonder if anybody's ever done studies where they like recorded this stuff. And just as I was thinking that, I come around the corner and there is a crew that is like legit umbrellas and everything, and like paper towels and water, and they are like sitting there recording every line of this, which was really cool to see. I don't know how I get onto that crew, but I want to be on that crew because that's just way too cool of a thing. And so yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, heck yeah. And I didn't want to bug them. That's the one thing that I learned. Being in the park service and everything, let people do their job. Don't bug them. But I really wanted to know, and I guess like I probably could have said, hey, I'm an archaeologist, and sort of talked with them. But man, I'd hate it if I was at a place constantly getting pestered by tourists. What are you doing? It would just drive me crazy. And so I didn't want to pester him. I didn't want to pester him. And besides, that's going to be published anyways at some point, so I'll read all about it. Um, you know, but it'd be cool to be able to get in on that crew. So then after Delphi, I was on my way to Olympia. Now, Olympia, on my way to Olympia, I had to go through Patra, however you say it, which is the bridge that goes over from the mainland to the Peloponnese, not in Corinth, but on the other side. So if the Peloponnese was like my hand here, right? Well, actually, it's upside down. Anyways, if the Peloponnese was like here and the mainland was here, and here's the Peloponnese, you have Corinth right here, and then you have like this little itty bitty spot here where Patra's at, and then you had this bridge that you could kind of cross there. So, anyways, I crossed there, but I had seen that there was a place that had chamber tombs. It was called Vudeni, and it had these chamber tombs that you could go check out. And I was like, well, shit, I want to go check out some chamber tombs, rock cut chamber tombs. And so I drove out there, and on the way, I saw this place with this thing that I'd always wanted to have, or that I wanted to have the moment I got there. Now, if you remember some of the stuff I talk about, well, maybe I never talked about this, but on the corners of the roofs of temples. So like, let's say this paper is the roof looking down on it from above. So on the corners, there's these little things that stand up on end like that, right? So like if this were to kind of stand up, oh, this is terrible. Anyways, it's these little corner things. Well, crazy thing is that modern day Greeks also have those corner things on their houses. If they've got roof tiles, the corners of their roofs have these things that stand up on end. I'm going to go get one real quick. So I wanted one, and I wasn't going to break one off of someone's roof, but this wasn't something you could just go to like Home Depot for, right? It had to be a place that sold things for like outdoor stuff. And so I went and I got one. This thing's handmade. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like hand marks in there. It's handmade. It's put into a mold. So I had to get one. This is terracotta, but that's the design. It's hard to get it on camera because I can't pull the camera any farther up. But yeah, that's it right there. So this would go on the corner of a roof and stand on end. And it's funny because I walk in there. I walk into the place and I'm looking and I look at it and I could tell that the people that own the place are looking at me like, what the hell is this tourist doing? And I go up to the lady and I ask her, do you speak English? But I ask her in Greek. And she says, yes. And I said, okay. I said, well, I want to get this. And she kind of gives me a weird look and we start talking and everything. And I tell her that, I'd seen him on people's roofs and I really wanted to get one. And she thought it was funny. And she had family that lived in America for a bunch of time. You also learn that a lot about the Greeks. A lot of them have family that have lived in America for a long time, or for chunks of time. And so anyway, so yeah, so she sold it to me. But then she also was like, no, 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 I'll give you more. Let me give you something else. And so she gave me, I wonder if I can find it. I don't know where it's at. Oh, I know where it's at. She gave me, let me see if I can find it real quick. She gave me this little thing. It's tinier, it's smaller, but it's still terracotta. Oh no, I put it away. Oh no, I put it away. Here they are. So I put them away. But I brought them out. So she gives me this little ionic column topper. It got broke in transport in my suitcase. But yeah, this little this little guy here. So she gives me that, and then I was like, "Oh, thanks so much." And she's like, "Yeah, you can have it, you can have it." And then she goes and she grabs this, and she's like, "Here, have this too." And I was like, "Oh no, 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 you don't need to give me that. No, 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 you have this, you have this." Well, that big piece was like €6, and both of these together are like, well, that's 3.8, and this is like something. Anyways, it was like another €6, right? for both of these together. So she basically was like, "Oh, you want to buy this weird thing because you're a weird tourist." Um, and so she gave me these two things that were like as much as the thing that I wanted to buy or that I did buy. So yeah, it was really fun. Like I said, everyone there is really nice. And if you go to like a mom and pop place and you just sort of have a conversation with them and you're nice, and you're not the typical jerkwad tourist, which I got to see lots of those. They're really nice and they give you stuff and they want to talk to you and they want to find out where you're from and what you're doing and like all that stuff. And then and if you're an archaeologist, that's even better. Um, that that really gets them talking. Because they love their history. And when they find out you're an archaeologist, they want to chat your ear off, which is great. I loved it. I loved it. So anyways, so I went to Vudeni and I got to see these rock cut chamber tombs, and these things are like Tholos tombs on the inside. Some of them are huge on the inside. I mean, not as big as like the Treasury of Atreus or anything like that, but some of them are huge on the inside, and they just cut these things into the rock, into the hillside. The hillside is sort of a softer stone, and they cut down. They sort of like cut at a downward angle to a chamber, and then it's sort of like beehive shaped on the inside, so it's like a dome. Um, but yeah, it's really cool. And then sometimes they recess this weird little spot at the very top, almost like a little button. It's just yeah, it's really wild. Rock cut chamber tombs though, and this hill had like 70 of them on there, and so I got to see that, and it was only like €5 to go see that. So there was also a settlement, but it was getting pretty hot, and I had a drive in front of me, and I really didn't want to go check out the settlement. But I think if I go again, I find myself at Vudeni again, I will definitely go check out the settlement. And if they're still doing excavations there, that'd be even cooler. But I don't know if they are. So yeah, so then I went to Olympia. I will say I wasn't very impressed with Olympia. They they focus on some of the Roman stuff a little too much, in my opinion, on Olympia. And yeah, I know, I'm beating a dead horse here because everybody knows. If you don't, welcome to the channel. Everyone knows I don't like Rome. I'm not a fan of Roman stuff at all, whatsoever. And so, yeah, I know it's one of those things. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it. But yeah, they focused a bit, in my opinion, a bit much on the Roman occupation of Olympia. Otherwise, it's all right. They could do a better. I think they could do a better presentation with it, or work on the presentation of it. But that's not to say that you shouldn't go there if you have the chance. the place I stayed at, the guy was super cool. He owned a little tavern there in the town of Olympia, and it was really he was super nice. Again, super nice people. He was really interested in what I was doing there, especially when I told him I was like doing this whole like road trip type thing. He thought that was great. Um, so all in all, yeah, he was a cool dude. His place was nice, very nice place. Um, Oh, the place I had at Delphi was absolutely gorgeous. People, I guess, don't really want to stay in Delphi, like the little town near there. But the place I stayed at was like at the top of the hill or close to the top of the hill. And you could like look out and see all of the town. And then you could see the plain and the port town there near Delphi. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so then after Olympia, where did I go? Oh, I went to Pylos. I actually got to see Pylos. So yes, I got to finally walk around Pylos, not in Pylos. And I will say, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but my interpretation of Pylos on the Bronze Age Minecraft series is really close to the size of that thing. I think I got it pretty well spot on with the size. Granted, I mean it's pretty easy when most of the walls are like near a meter thick, so I mean it's not too hard. But I could see all of the rooms, that I built. I could see all of them, so that was really cool to see. Um, it did suck that I couldn't walk around in Pylos. Um, I suppose maybe I could figure out a way to do that without breaking the rules. But here's the thing. I am a huge rule follower when it comes to these places. Um, I worked for the Park Service, and when I worked for the Park Service, I was a big time rule follower there. I have legitimately kicked people out of the park that I've worked at, or a park that I worked at. I won't say which one it is, though the people who I've worked with know. For being jackasses, for doing things you shouldn't be doing. And so, if they don't want people walking around in Pylos, then I don't need to walk around in Pylos. But if it's one of those things where they just don't want tourists walking around in Pylos, they're okay with an archaeologist doing it, maybe for like, I don't know, a documentary or something like that. Maybe I somehow try to convince them to let me do that. I don't know what it's like to get permits out there to film professionally. But maybe I'll look into that if I go again, or I should say when I go again. That's another thing I do want to bring up too. So I did do a lot of filming while out there, but I didn't do any narration. Like I didn't talk to the camera or anything like that. They are really strict on who can be tour guides out there, like really, really strict. And I did not want to push my luck. I didn't want them to think that I was a tour guide recording something. They also have a thing about professional filming. I didn't want to push my luck with that. So there will be some footage coming out, but it is going to be, oh no, I glued this one in backwards. There will be footage coming out, but if I do any kind of narration, it'll probably be a voiceover. Oh no, I glued that one in back. How did I glue that one in backwards? Can I somehow? Oh, I'm gonna ruin this thing trying to get it off of there. So yeah. Yes, those rules are for people's protection or protecting the archaeological site, and I suspect it's protecting the archaeological site more than anything else. Dang, I totally screwed that one up right there. Look at that. See the nice shape, and then it goes boop, and then out again. That's right. It's going to be covered by this anyways, so it's not going to be too noticeable, but I'm going to notice it. Dang. All right. So this one goes there. All right. So what next? Oh yeah. So then after Pylos, I went to go see the Tholos tomb in this little bay. There's this like crescent-shaped bay, and there's a Tholos tomb way up high. And I was actually going to do recording there because I knew there wasn't going to be anybody there, and they're not going to be upset that I did recording there. But while I was there, there was a small group. There was like a couple there, and then there was like these three asshole tourists with like two dogs off leash running around on the site, which you're not allowed to have animals on site. So yeah, that was disappointing. So I did not record. And then what did I do? So after Pylos, I went to Mycenae. So I went to Mycenae, Tiryns, and Nafplion. I got to see the Dendra panoply in person, which is cool because that's in the Nafplion Museum. And I went to go see the Citadel of Mycenae and the Citadel of Tiryns, which were also really, really impressive. And I picked up, when I say picked up, I mean purchased from a gift shop. I picked up one of these. So this is a Psi figurine. They also come in or Psi, however you want to say it. If you want to do the ancient Greek pronunciation, they also come in one where the arms are just a round disc instead of this up like this. And then there's another one where I think they come straight out. So that's the Toph or the Tau one, and then the other one, the one with the disc, is the Phi figurine. But yeah, so this is a little figurine. I actually bought two of these, a bigger one that's an actual replica, and that went to a friend. And then I picked up this one, which is a smaller one, not a replica. Well, I mean, it's a replica, but it's not a replica of an actual artifact. It's just one that somebody slapped together. But the reason why I picked up this one is because I've actually handled these. I got to handle these this summer, not at where we were doing the excavation. I actually got to handle them at another site. Perks of being an archaeologist. And this is actually the size of the ones that I actually got to handle. Most of them were missing their head. Funny thing about that is that when these, so one of the guys or one of the crew that was digging at the excavation that we were digging at was pulling up a lot of like really clayey soil, and they were wetting it down and making like little figurines and stuff, like little bowls and things like that. And they made one of these. One of the guys made one of these, and it dried into sort of like the drier than the leather hardened. If you've done any kind of pottery type work, you know what leather hardened is. But it dried to where it was solid, but it wasn't baked, and it fell off of the little pedestal that they had it on. And when it hit the ground, it popped the head off like immediately. And when I looked at it, that's where all of them are broken. So, or all of them that are broken, where the head pops off, it's the same spot. So it's like this little thin area right here, where it just sort of breaks off because this whole thing is like a little, like you can just go snap and break it. So I thought that was interesting. Because you see them missing their heads, or sometimes you find just the heads, and they're always broken at the same spot. So I'm sure someone somewhere has said, "Oh, they do that as a ritual. They break the heads off from." I don't know, maybe not. But if anyone ever says that, they're probably full of it, because that's just where they break when you drop them. But yeah, these little figurines, they're kind of neat. So I had to get one. So yeah, so that's a neat little one that I grabbed. Also, when I grabbed the procession painting, I also grabbed another one. Let me grab that one real quick. Now, if you're not familiar with this fresco from Knossos, you might be familiar with the name. So the name is the Three Ladies. I think that's usually what they call it. But this, I had to get one of these too. Which I won't be able to fit fully on the camera. Well, maybe if I drop it low enough. Well, anyways, yeah. So the Three Ladies. This was the same place that I got the procession picture. So the procession picture is that, and then the Three Ladies. Oh, can I hook it without getting up out of my chair? No. There we go. So I had to get this because I got to see this in person, and I really like it. Just like with the processional picture, I saw it, wanted it, had to have it. So I got it. I just got to figure out where to put it in my room. I will say that when I got to see that stuff in person, I'm not afraid or ashamed to admit that I got a little choked up seeing it. Some of that stuff in real life is just, man, you've seen pictures of it, and to see it actually in real life is something else. It is absolutely something else. And yeah, it was a little difficult in some areas. So my Cine, Tyrans, Nafleon, and then I met up with a subscriber by the name of Alexander in Ismail, and we went to where did we go? We went to the Acrocorinth, which was quite a hike, but it was the views were really nice. We got to chatting a lot, and we had a good time. And we went to ancient Corinth, and then I got to go to this. There's a little museum by where he lives that we got to go sort of walk around in right before closing too. So they were really wanting to go home, but we were busy sort of putzing around and looking at stuff. But we got to see some stuff, and then I got to see a site that had been excavated or had been sort of explored, actually right near his house, which was really cool to see. It was a very interesting site. I'm going to have to look up some of the publications on it and stuff, just because, I mean, it was just a really neat thing to see. But they were like carving into the bedrock to make houses and like basements and stuff. Really, really neat stuff to see. But he was pretty cool. It was funny. So we went out to lunch, and we're talking, and he goes, all right, I'm gonna, we get kind of close to the end of eating. He says, I'm gonna go outside and smoke. They all smoke in Greece. And I said, okay, cool. And he goes, I don't know how much of our culture Vasilios has told you, Vasilios being my brother. He said, but if you pay for this lunch, I will leave you stranded. And then he walks out. And I was like, okay. So that was pretty funny. And so I wasn't going to pay for lunch anyways, but yeah, I mean, I thought about it. But he said it was his treat. So I was like, okay. But no, he meant it. He meant it when he said it was his treat. So yeah, so we had a good time. We hung out. We went to go see lots of really cool stuff. And then after that, I went back to the place I was staying at near Mycenae, and the next day drove into Athens and flew back to the U.S. So that was my fun trip. All right, what are we on now? Fold and glue the oars in place. Okay, there we go. Glue the deck B to the hull E. So I guess this is the, let me go ahead and real quick glue these two little bastards together. I guess we have come to the portion of the live stream where I will take questions. So if you got any questions, go ahead and type them away. I'm curious to see what people want to know about my trip, and I will of course keep yakking away because that's what I do. All right, how does this? This goes here, and then it slides down. Oh, and it slides down right on there. Okay. Oh no, the one that I screwed up is messing everything up. Okay, I need to figure out how to fix this. All right, let's see here. Let's bust out the nice one. Let's see if I can split this. I wonder if I can. Well, we'll see if it comes to that. Well, it'll come to that. But let's see if I can get this to sort of let go. Oh, maybe not. Oh. Well, I'm going to have to be creative with how I do this. Dang. I also wanted to go see Malia in Crete, but ended up not going and doing that because trying to find a way to get to Malia and back in time was, well, especially places like Phaistos, was just not feasible unless you actually rented a car. So I think if I go to Crete again, I'm going to rent a car or a scooter or something like that. I would have loved to have rented a motorcycle and just sort of toured Greece on the motorcycle, but my luggage and everything, it just wasn't feasible. Oh, I know. You want to hear you want to hear my my dad moment that I had while while at the field school. This one's pretty funny. I'll tell you my dad moment. So I mentioned that I can drive stick shift, right? And I ended up being transport. I ended up being the guy who was, transporting the students to the site, as well as also work at the site. But anyways, we had the first session that was there, which was the first 4 weeks. Had like, I don't know, 20 people there. Yeah, it was 20 people. Now most of these are like, these are like young 20 something year olds, right? Like young, like early 20s, mid 20s, right? And here I am, old man, and oh yeah, see, I can do that. I just need to be creative. Maybe I can use tape. Do I have tape somewhere? Oh, I do. Seeing some of the pictures you shared with other tourists, how can people go to these amazing places and look so underwhelmed and bored? Yeah, you're telling me. There was a lot of that. I was actually quite surprised at how often people were just underwhelmed. And I think what it boils down to be honest with you, is someone in the group wanted to go see that site. No one else did. And I think that's why. I think that's why there's so many people who are underwhelmed. And I think it's just they just don't know what they're looking at, unfortunately. Usually it's the dad. The dad's usually the one that wants to see these sites. So yeah, that's probably what's going on there. Okay. All right. So I put a little bit of tape on this. And then I need to do, right? It's going this way. Yes, this way. Okay. So if I tape this here. All right. So my dad moment that I had. So at one point, one of the vehicles, one of the vans that we were using broke down. Not mine. I took good care of mine. But the other one broke down. And so I was having to run 2 trips to the site. right? So the first day we we go to do this, um, I run the first run out there in the morning, run the second run out there in the morning, right? Easy peasy. On the way back, that in the afternoon, okay. Keep in mind we've just been out in the hot sun all day, 8 hours, uh, digging away, usually full sun, um, no real shade, no real breeze to speak of. So I'm a little bleh, and I kind of didn't want to just deal with people, but you know, you, you do what you do. So, anyways, I'm in the I'm in the vehicle, and first off, the instructor, he probably didn't think this through. He goes, "How many people are okay with staying for the second run?" And everybody raised their hand. It's like, yeah, no, they can't work that way. So then he's like, well, no, people got to go on the first run. So, anyways, my cohort hops in the van because he's like, well, screw these guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be in the passenger seat. I'm like, yeah. And then, and we finally get people in, but it was like pulling teeth to get people to get into the freaking van so that we could go. So, anyways, we get in the van and we're driving, and out of freaking nowhere, the two people in the very far back like shriek and start flailing around like they're being attacked, right? And of course, I'm driving and I'm like, what? What's going on? What's going on? And they say, oh, there's a cicada back here. So they're like, we just don't want it to touch us. And of course, I'm already done with the day. So I say, in the most tactful way that I possibly could have, I said, "Well, it won't touch you if I kick you out of the fucking van." Um, they immediately, kind of like, "Oh," I didn't say it, in that sort of joking way either. I was pretty upset. Um, and so they realize like, oh, yep, he's upset. And so they kind of get quiet, but they're still kind of flailing around a little bit, and everyone's kind of making fun of them. And about 30 seconds later, they shriek again and start flailing again, which, like, this is, I'm trying to drive here, and they're freaking me out. And so, I yell at them, and I was like, I said, that is a harmless insect. You are apex predators. Start fucking acting like it. Which got him to be quiet, which was kind of funny. Um, and I was just like, just done with the day. Um, and so we get we get to the lab. Now the lab, that we're going to for the field school, is in town, but how would I describe? So all the roads in town are like little one ways, and so we usually park next to the lab. Instead, what I do, and of course, all these people are in the back and they're all yelling and being loud and everything, and so I pull up in front of the the lab, and for the past 15-20 minutes, I've heard nothing but loud kids basically the entire time, and and I say, all right, everyone, get out. But they're being loud, and so they don't hear me. And someone, I don't know who, in the back goes, I don't think you can park here. And I lost it. I whipped around and I said, get the fuck out. And they all start like scrambling to get out of the car. And they finally got out. And then I took off because I was not in the mood to deal with it anymore. But yeah, so that was my dad moment. And my yeah. So that was fun. Uh, but yeah, all right. So that is, it's not great. It's got a little eh, deformity here. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So then we got the mast. You want to be an archaeologist when you're older? Oh, that's great. Um, the being an archaeologist is cool. It is highly rewarding in many ways, but financially. Um, okay, how am I supposed to do this? Glue deck B to hull east. Glue, fold and glue the sail M to its place on the mast. Yeah, but I think I got to fold this up. Yeah, if you really do want to be an archaeologist when you get older, um, there's a lot of really neat things. Wait, how do you do this? There's a lot of really neat things you can do as an archaeologist. And there's a lot of really neat things that you can see as an archaeologist. Where's the box at? How is this done? Oh, I see. So this folds out. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do and you can see, and I've seen a lot of really neat things. I know a lot of really useless information, and you know what? It's totally worth it. My only regret is that I did not get started in it sooner. Um, when I got back to Arizona, I wasted about 10 years trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. And also I wasted 10 years trying to get back into the military, which was just stupid. But yeah, I wasted a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, if you want to be an archaeologist, that's great. Just know that, well, one, certain types of archaeology, there's not a lot of work for unless you are an academic. If you want to do CRM archaeology, there's lots of work everywhere in the U.S. at least. I don't know where you're at, but there's lots of work in the U.S. for CRM archaeologists, which is what I did. So, like, what CRM archaeology is, and I like to use this example a lot. Let's say somebody wants to build a mall out in the middle of nowhere. They have to get a whole bunch of obviously permits and stuff, but they also have to have the area inspected. Biologists have to get out there, geologists have to get out there. Everyone's got to get out there and get their little fingers involved in it in order for these folks to actually build anything out there. And one of the things they got to do, especially if it's a place like Arizona or a place where there's a lot of archaeology, is they got to get an archaeologist to look the place over and either tell them that yes, there is stuff here and we need to remove it, called mitigation, or they tell them, like, look, there's nothing here, you're good to go, and you can build. If there is stuff there and they need to do something about it, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just, like, if it's something like a mall, it's hard to move. But if it's something like, let's say, the platform for a windmill for a wind farm, well, that's easy to move. You can just move the platform somewhere else, right? You can just shift it over 50 meters and not worry about destroying anything archaeological. But if you can't move it, then the archaeologists have to go in there and actually excavate and do the archaeology thing. And that's what I did for quite a long time. For about, well, let's see here. I think my first ever archaeology job was in 2013. My first actual, like, you were getting paid for this job was 2013. So yeah, I've been doing it for a little while. Of course, I haven't been doing it continuously since 2013. That's something I should probably try to let people know more often, is that, oh, whoops, I'm putting this on wrong. This needs to go, how does this go? This goes like this. Okay, no, I was putting it on right. I haven't been doing it continuously, but I have been an archaeologist since 2013. I've been, dividing up my time between that and like the Park Service. Oh, well, how am I gonna, the mast is all funky. I guess like that. Oh, the mast is all twisted, and because of that, this little crossbeam is twisted as well. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. So yeah, and then of course with something like Mediterranean archaeology, well, best of luck work outside of academia. That's just not going to happen. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and, this mass is twisted. Can I? Oh, nope. Okay. Well, we'll just glue it in place. Yeah, so like Mediterranean archaeology, academia is really where you're going to have to be at. So, do I want to do academia? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But the thing is I'll have a master's, and with that master's, I can go back to the Park Service and make better money without having to put the time in. Well, other than putting the time in at academia. All right, so there's that. Oh, what else we got? My cousin just got her PhD in archaeology, specializing in the Viking era in Sweden. Oh, that's neat. There's been a lot of interest in that lately. So I'm sure they'll have plenty of work, especially if they're in Sweden. You do lots of cool stuff. I mean, my professional archaeology experience has always been in the American Southwest. Oh, look at that. It just kind of poofs up if I do. Except for that. Can I just, I wonder if I can just glue this. Oh, she is in Sweden. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, you got lots of cool stuff you can do there. Even, I don't know if they've got, I'm sure they've got national parks and stuff there too. So yeah, you could do all kinds of neat stuff with that education. All right, so I'm just going to hold this here. Yeah, so like most of my work has been in the American Southwest, and so that it is what it is. If I go back to doing archaeology, CRM archaeology, I would either have to relearn new civilization, like out here in the southeast, where I'm at in Tennessee. I'd either have to learn the new civilizations out here, or go do like academia work. All right, let's see if we can fix this little funky spot here. But if you want to be an archaeologist when you get older, I don't know where you're at in the world, but if you are in America, you should look into Pima Community College. Believe it or not, Pima Community College. They have a wonderful field program. Oh, shit. No. Okay. There we go, right there. They have a wonderful field program. I'm a little biased, but I feel it's probably one of the best field programs in the U.S. Again, I'm a little biased, but that's it's my opinion. But when I tell people who have been to universities before, who are archaeologists, and I tell them all the stuff that we did at Pima College. They are blown away by the amount of stuff that we've done there. All right, so that's it. Yeah. And of course, there are plenty of archaeologists online as well. You're more than welcome to come onto the Discord and pick any of our brains for career paths and stuff like that. Like I think Harold is a former archaeologist, but I think he's specialized in Irish archaeology, I think. I've done Southwest. I've also doing, classical archaeology or Mediterranean archaeology. So yeah. All right, so there we go. There is the Papercraft Trireme. It's not perfect. You see some gaps in there, but yeah, not too bad. The hull is the V shape. Oh wait, there's something else. Fold and glue in place the rudder oars N. Yeah, right here. You're not sure if you've ever heard Harold say what he specialized in? I don't know if I could have swore he's mentioned it before online. I know he's told me. And I thought I want to say he has mentioned it on YouTube before. If not, well, I just kind of outed him there. So sorry, but I'm almost positive he's mentioned that on YouTube. I know he's mentioned he's a former archaeologist. I mean, even former archaeologists, they still got it. Okay. So, rudder oars N. Where the heck did these go? I mean, these are in the back. And they usually stick down. Where's the box? It does not show it. Okay. Well, on a trireme, the oars usually stick down like that. So I'm going to guess that this little slot here. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half, or kind of bend it in half. And I'm going to do like, wait a second. Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, maybe like this. I want to say that little slot there that I glued like a dingus is probably where those go. So let's see if I can pry that open without tearing off this thing's tail. Okay, so that one's pried open. Oh, and actually there was a really cool thing that happened. One of the students at the field school, we were kind of just talking, and I was talking with my cohort, and I mentioned something. I can't remember what I mentioned, but I mentioned something about the channel because I'm relatively proud of the channel. And one of the students said, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel?" I said, "Yeah, I got a YouTube channel." And she goes, "What's it? What do you do on it?" And I said, "Oh, I I talk about, or I explore new and creative ways of teaching about archaeology and the history of ancient Greece. I said I do some things like, and I started off some stuff, and she immediately like started to recognize what I was talking about, and she goes, "Wait, what do you call it? What's the name of your channel?" And I said, "Oh, Vasclos BCE," and she goes, "That's you?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." And she's like, "Oh my God." And I said, "What the heck? You didn't recognize my voice?" It's like, "No, you sound different." I'm like, oh, "Okay, I guess maybe I do." So yeah, so that was kind of fun. That somebody I don't consider that to be a recognizing me on the street moment though. Because I think of like recognizing me on the street moments as like somebody coming up to me and being like, "Hey, are you so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." Like so I don't count that as the recognizing me on the street. But I did think it was kind of cool that that she recognized that. And then apparently other people had found out earlier about the YouTube channel, and um, one of the guys there was telling me that like, oh, he had seen my trail ruins stuff, and and he had watched that and everything before, and he didn't realize it was me. So yeah, it was funny. You show your face on your channel. How did she not recognize? Well, I do show my face on the channel, but if all you've ever seen, which is the Minecraft content, um, which let's face it, that's what a lot of people know from the channel. Um, then yeah, you wouldn't recognize me unless you listen to my voice, and even then, like it might be it might sound familiar, but yeah. Okay, so there we go. There's the oars, the rudders. Looks like shit, but okay, it's fine. All right, so there we go. Oh, and it kind of helps it stabilize a little bit. Not really. So there we go. Yeah. So yeah, most people know me from the Minecraft stuff. So yeah, if they've only ever seen the Minecraft stuff, they probably never seen my face. Uh, so there it is. The paper. Oh, what happened here? Sale's coming undone. Let's fix that real quick before we go. Drop. It can't stand on its own. Let's clamp this bad boy. And there we go. All right. I'm going to clamp that till it dries, which should be here in the next couple seconds. And I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for joining me while I tell you the story of my time in Greece. I have a ton of video footage from it. I have no idea how I'm going to do any of it. But with the footage, because I definitely want to show it to you. I was wearing a GoPro on the chest mount, and I wore it at all the places I went to. Every place I went to, I wore it. So yeah, I'll figure something out. Maybe I do like what I did before with the music, and then do voiceover. I don't know, or maybe I record. Maybe I record like a separate portion where I talk to the camera, talking about different things, and intersperse that into the footage. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'm also up for any suggestions that anybody has too for anything like that. If you got a good suggestion that you think will work out really well for the footage that I shot, it's all first person footage from the chest mount. That's it. No narration or anything. But I can always add narration. That's it. I can definitely add narration. So anyways, if you got ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I think that'll do it for tonight. So I will see you guys next time, probably this weekend for a premiere. I think it's VR Skyrim. So I don't think I've done a premiere for VR Skyrim yet. So yeah, we'll see you then. All right, everyone. Have a good night.